Smokejumpers by Mish Goldish. Lightning strike. It all started with a bolt of lightning on a summer afternoon in July 2012. The lightning struck a tree in a part of Montana's Lola National Forest called Rattlesnake Wilderness. In an instant, the tree burst into flames like a giant match. The fire quickly spread to other trees. In no time, a wildfire covered the area. Nearby, an airplane was on fire patrol. When the plane's pilot saw smoke rising from the forest, he immediately radioed fire officials on the ground. The wildfire was moving up a hill that had no roads. Officials knew that firefighters on the ground would have a hard time reaching the blaze. This was a job for smoke jumpers. Ready, set, jump. 8 smoke jumpers at a base in Missoula, Montana were sent out as the first responders to the wildfire. Their base was about 10 miles, 16 kilometers from the blaze. The firefighters quickly put on their padded jumpsuits, strapped on their parachutes, and boarded an airplane. When the plane was flying over the jump spot, the smoke jumpers leapt out. As the smoke jumpers fell through the air, their parachutes opened. They guided themselves to the ground near the fire by tugging on their parachute straps or toggles. The jumpers had to steer carefully. Why? One wrong move would cause them to be blown off course and into the flames. Battling wildfires. Wildfires like the one in Rattlesnake Wilderness spread very quickly. During hot summers with little rain, trees and grasses dry out. Wildfires burn this dry vegetation in a flash and then move on, hungry for more fuel. If there are high winds, flames will spread even faster. Wildfires don't just destroy forests, they also threaten people who live near wooded areas. A fire may spread to towns and destroy homes and other property. Harmful smoke fills the air, making it dangerous to breathe. Smoke jumpers keep all of this in mind as they parachute down to battle a blaze. Racing the flames. The 8 smoke jumpers who parachuted into Rattlesnake Wilderness needed to act quickly to contain the fire. After landing on the ground, they immediately started cutting a fire break. Smoke jumpers make this long, wide path by clearing away trees, grasses, and other vegetation. All that's left is dirt. When the wildfire reaches the fire break, it has nothing to burn and it dies out. Sometimes a wildfire moves too quickly for smoke jumpers to make a fire break. Instead, to stop the blaze, they create their own fire called a backfire. To start one, jumpers use fuses or torches to burn the vegetation between themselves and the oncoming wildfire. When the wildfire reaches the burned out path created by the backfire, it dies out. Rough days. Some wildfires are so huge that it can take weeks to contain them. Smoke jumpers usually work 16-hour shifts in extremely hot conditions. According to smoke jumpers, Rick Ratja, you're in the heat of the battle, so you don't really notice. It's uncomfortable until you're done. Then you're like, wow, I'm all dirty and sweaty, and it's really hot. At night, smoke jumpers sleep on the ground. They have to deal with biting insects and venomous snakes crawling nearby. Sometimes the jumpers work 14 days straight before they can get any time off. After one day of rest, they return to battle the wildfire. Lots of help. Smoke jumpers are often the first firefighters to respond to wildfires, but they don't work alone. Sometimes tanker planes fly overhead and drop sticky fire retardant chemicals over a burning area. The chemicals keep the vegetation wet so it burns more slowly. Helicopters may also help out by carrying giant buckets of water to dump on the flames. If there are no roads, teams of special firefighters called hotshots drive to the wildfire area to join the smoke jumpers. Like the jumpers, hotshots work to contain the fire. Other firefighters may bring in bulldozers. The bulldozers quickly make fire breaks by plowing through grasses and shrubs. Mopping up. Even after a wildfire is contained, smoke jumpers still have a lot of work to do. Once the fire dies out, they must mop up so the fire doesn't start again later. The jumpers slowly walk across every inch of burned ground, sometimes for miles. Along the way, they feel the ground for hot spots. These are small areas where the fire may be smoldering. Each hotspot needs to be put out completely. To do this, jumpers use their shovels to put dirt on top of any embers they find. After all the hotspots are smothered, the smoke jumpers leave the area in a helicopter or through the forest on foot. Having what it takes. Making just one mistake while parachuting or fighting a fire can be deadly. As a result, smoke jumpers have to be carefully trained. Smoke jumper trainees are usually firefighters who already have several years of experience fighting wildfires. During training, jumpers are taught how different wind conditions can affect their parachute jumps. They can also learn how to use their smoke jumping equipment and how to rappel down trees with ropes. Since firefighting is hard work, trainees have to pass tough physical tests. In one test, they must run 1.5 miles in under 11 minutes. In the pack-out test, they have to hike 3 miles while carrying 110 pounds of gear in 90 minutes or less. Parachute training. Smoke jumpers learn one more important skill during training, how to parachute from an airplane. At training camp, students drop from a 3-story jump tower while wearing a body harness that is attached to cable. This allows them to practice the correct way to exit or jump out of a plane. After they learn how to do this, trainees take practice jumps with real parachutes. Trainees also learn to steer their parachutes so they land on the jump spot. However, this isn't so easy to do. In one of his first jumps to a fire, Rick Raja accidentally landed in an 80-foot tall pine tree. I had to rappel down with all the guys laughing at me, he remembered. Danger on the job. Although smoke jumpers are well trained, things can go terribly wrong. One of the worst firefighting tragedies occurred in 1949. A group of smoke jumpers from Missoula, Montana parachuted into Helena National Forest to battle a wildfire in a canyon area called Man Gulch. As the smoke jumpers went to work near the blaze, a strong wind suddenly blew the wildfire straight toward them. The jumpers tried to run away. 2 firefighters managed to find shelter inside a crack in the canyon's rock wall. Sadly, 12 other smoke jumpers were caught by the flames and died. Taking cover. After the Man Gulch tragedy, the Forest Service developed a lightweight fire shelter to help protect firefighters from fast-moving flames blown in their direction. The shelter looks like a small tent and is made of material that can withstand heat up to 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Firefighters who are trapped by flames can grab the folded shelter from their backpack and quickly open it up. Each firefighter takes cover inside one until the blaze passes over him or her. The shelters have saved hundreds of lives. In 1994, 9 Colorado firefighters survived a wildfire when they took cover in their shelters. The firefighters had been dealing with difficult conditions as they battled the blaze, including high winds that caused the flames to spread 100 feet per minute. Conditions were so deadly, however, that several other smoke jumpers who used their shelters in the wildfire did not survive. Why be a smoke jumper? A smoke jumper has a very dangerous job, so why would anyone choose to become one? Just ask Ramona Hull, a smoke jumper based in Idaho. Former college athlete, Ramona welcomes the physical challenge of firefighting. She also loves the thrill of the jump. Ramona recalled that her first practice jump was really exciting. Your heart is pumping. During her first actual fire jump, Ramona landed in a tree. She wasn't discouraged, however. She looked forward to each new jump. Thanks to the brave individuals like Ramona, smoke jumpers will continue to be the heroes who are first on the scene to battle deadly wildfires.